I don't know who needs to hear this, so if this is finding you, I do trust it'll be finding the right people at the right time as usual, basically. But as always, take it how it resonates and leave it how it doesn't. There's been a definite message that's been coming through, and for the past few days I haven't really felt like picking up my cards to do a collective message, and when I have done it, it's just, I don't know, I'm kind of feeling the desire to kind of freeball a little bit at the minute with the energy that's coming through. But the message that's been coming out is to accept that as time goes on, and the more that you, if you are doing, which I believe that you are, because that's why you're seeing me, that you're actively healing, you're actively choosing to heal and to do the work on yourself, your standards are going to change. The card that keeps coming into my mind's eye at the minute is the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords reminds us that the darkest hour always comes before dawn. Essentially, we have to hit rock bottom. You're going to have to fall. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to go through some form of monumental life circumstance, shift, change, ending, to finally realize basically something just isn't working. And a lot of us say, you know, oh, it shouldn't take for me, you, anyone to have to get to that point. But sometimes it's kind of necessary to burn your bridges. Sometimes it's kind of necessary to see the underbelly, the dirty, grubby underbelly of yourself and of what's going on in your life, to actually then feel like initiating some form of change. And this has really been coming through for whoever needs it, is that your standards are going to change. The more that you heal, you are not going to keep tolerating the same things that you once did. You're not going to perhaps feel like being lusted over. That's something that I really am being, like, God has been speaking to me so much about. I used to find it like not even admirable, but like, oh, that's really nice to be lusted over. No, it's not. It's actually not. Because that's not someone who is seeing you for your mind and your soul. That's someone who is seeing you as, what can I gain from this person? What can I access through them? And that's just one of the things that I'm personally happy with sharing, because I think it's something that so many of us in the world need to look at. And I know I'm definitely working through it. And a lot of what I used to tolerate in relationships and used to go, oh, that's totally fine. It's not. Like, it broke my spirit. It belittled me. It sidelined me. And I'm just here to tell you that your standards are going to change, and they must. It would be foolish to go through everything that you've experienced and be willing to entertain the same old ex-partnerships. It would be foolish to go back to that situationship who only wants you for your pleasure. It would be foolish to entertain the same kinds of situations and scenarios again when you've already been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, learned the lesson. You know, it then becomes self-sacrifice. It then becomes essentially, you don't necessarily then get to complain. You're choosing it. You've read the book. You know how the story ends. Don't complain about it then when it then happens. And I know that's like me talking in a more general sense. That's not me talking about anybody with trauma, so please don't like garrot me. I'm talking more about people who know that what they're doing isn't good. Like, if you're trying to, I don't know, like, it's in a more general sense than anything serious, so please don't garrot me for saying that. But whoever is seeing this, your standards are gonna change. Your standards must elevate. And this is not about shifting into a macho energy of, oh, I'm just gonna treat people however I want and have these your standards don't need to be superior or exceptional. They just need to be better. They just need to be healthier this time around. They need to be based off of real life experiences that you've gone through, and to essentially go to yourself, I've learned that now, and I don't want to go through that again. So what do I need to do to not entertain something like that again? And it's kind of funny, like where I'm parked right now, there's a lot of learner plates that are going by, and it's like God is saying to you, Spirit is saying to you, you're maybe going to feel like you've got your stabilizer wheels on your bicycle to begin with, or that you've got your L plates on, and you know, you're trying to drive a gear shift and you're going from second into sixth into first, and it's stalling and you don't know. It's going to take trial and error, and it runs the risk of you being mugged off, of you looking stupid, of you falling on your face a few times. You're going to fall over, graze your knee, cut it, put a bit of stingy Germaline on, the lights have just come on, and then suddenly it's going to click, okay? It's just about understanding that your standards will change, and it's going to take some trial and error. And I know a lot of my messages tend to go on for a while, but I love talking and I love channeling for you guys. But take it however you need it, that your standards must change. They have to. Like I said, it would be foolish to go through and to experience what you have done and to think that, well, it wasn't me, therefore I can remain the same. That's childish and it's immature. You need to learn lessons. These people, these scenarios, these situations are also sent for you to learn, not just for you to call that person a man-child and, oh, they need to go and heal. No, you need to heal. Why did you entertain that? Why did you overlook all the red flags? Why did you people please and phone your way through that relationship? Hello? Like, you do have lessons that you have to learn. It's so easy to palm off ownership onto somebody else, but you've got things you need to learn as well. And this may not make sense. Again, you may feel like you've got your L plates on, your stabilizers, you've fallen off. It's a bit clumsy. It's a bit embarrassing. I don't quite know. Yeah, it's going to take trial and error. And one thing that I've learned, and this is just me, I've become far more outspoken. I just say what's on my mind. I ask people questions like, well, what are your intentions with texting me? Essentially, you're just trying to get in my pants, or you're actually trying to get to know my heart and my soul? Are you going to take me out on a date? And it's not about, trying to push people, but it's about going, I'm not prepared to waste my time. Don't slide into my DMs if it's lustful. I'm not interested. I don't really feel like I'm going to meet my husband over Instagram. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I'm learning lessons. I see the red flags early on. I see it in new friendships that I'm making. I see it in situations that I'm entertaining. I'm learning so much through my career, through business, through mentorship, just in the broad sphere of life. Because if you're not learning, it's because you're placing all the responsibility onto everybody else, and that is the most childish and foolish thing you can do. How are you going to grow then? How are you going to actually evolve? How are you going to actually mature if it's everybody else's job, but you're not actively choosing to take from lessons and learn from it yourself? It's like Spirit's giving me an example. If you worked at a coffee shop and it was your job to be like a barista, and someone's making like a frappuccino or some kind of, I don't know, fancy bubble tea, fantastic matcha latte, cinnamon swirl, everything's amazing, pixie fairy dust coffee, whatever the latest thing is, and your colleague does it completely wrong, they completely mess it up, you would then probably just go, oh, well, that's for them to learn from. No, it's also for you to learn from, because you now know what not to do. And you can apply that to every sphere of your life. It's not judging other people, but it's about learning. And we're seeing it all over social media. One of the main things is women coming together to talk about what to look out for in red flags in men. And that's not about bashing men. That's about supporting other people. That's about learning from other people's experience so you can evolve and grow. Learning is so important. And in that, your standards are going to elevate. I promise I'm bringing it back round to a point. Your standards are meant to elevate, because if they don't, you stay stagnant. You stay at the baseline of your own potential. There's a blackbird singing, my favourite bird in the entire world. You are meant to elevate. You need to, like a bird, you need to jump from rooftop to rooftop. You need to try out your soprano and your different operatics and, your different sounds and your different songs. Be prepared to be seen, to fail, to flop, to make mistakes, to get into relationships that don't work out, to fall for the breadcrumbs again, to fall for the red flags, but then to put yourself, in positions of applying for a job and messing up the interview. But again, it's about learning, and it's also about understanding that maybe certain situations you can actually choose to stop putting yourself in because you're learning that your standards have changed. Like, you need to be mature enough now to stop just remaining at baseline. And apparently it's everybody else's responsibility to grow and to evolve. But what about your responsibility to yourself? If your standards aren't changing, it's because you're choosing to continue settling. Because apparently you don't need to change. No, you do. Because if you don't change, nothing around you is really going to. You're not a DIY project, but you're not meant to remain stagnant for the rest of your life. I just want to put that out there.